Have you ever been told to slow down just because of your age? Maybe it came from someone who loves you. Maybe it came from the voice inside your head. But here's the truth. Slowing down isn't always the answer. In fact, for many seniors over 70, the real magic begins when they stop shrinking to fit other people's expectations and start embracing true, meaningful independence. Because independence after 70 isn't just a lifestyle. It's a message to the world and to yourself. I'm still here. I still matter. And I'm still becoming. Let's explore why choosing independence, emotionally, physically, mentally, is one of the most life-affirming things you can do after 70. 1. Reclaiming your dignity through choice. Every time you choose for yourself, you say, I still have a voice. It can be subtle. The adult daughter who starts answering questions for you at the doctor's office. The well-meaning neighbor who insists on doing your errands. The family that decides, without asking, that it's time you downsize. But dignity comes from being included, not bypassed. And it begins with being allowed and choosing to make your own decisions. Take Eleanor, 78, who lives outside of Boston. Her kids encouraged her to sell her home after a minor fall. But Eleanor didn't just react. She reflected. She made a plan to remodel her downstairs into a fully accessible suite, hired a local caregiver for 10 hours a week, and proudly stayed in the home she and her late husband built. I wasn't being stubborn, she says. I was saying this is still my life. That's not just about physical independence. It's dignity and action. 2. Staying physically capable by doing things for yourself. Motion is life, and independence keeps you in motion. It's tempting to believe that being cared for means you'll be safer. And yes, support is important. But too much reliance can quietly lead to muscle loss, joint stiffness, slower reaction time, and decreased confidence. In contrast, older adults who continue to shop, cook, move about their home, tend a garden, or walk daily not only retain more mobility, but often build strength and coordination. Meet Jack, 81, a retired train conductor from Liverpool. He still chops vegetables for himself every evening, even if it takes longer. Could my son do it faster? Of course. But I'd rather take 20 minutes doing it myself than lose the use of my hands. Jack's not just preserving a task. He's preserving control over his body, his space, and his sense of ability. Small routines, getting dressed, making tea, tidying up, aren't minor. They're the heartbeat of vitality. 3. Mental clarity grows when you keep making decisions. The more you engage your brain in real choices, the more it stays alive. Cognitive decline isn't just about age. It's about stimulation. Seniors who stop managing their schedules, their money, or even their meals often report feeling mentally foggy. Not because their brain can't handle it, but because no one expects it to. Independence is the antidote. Take Margaret, 84, in New Zealand. Every week she balances her checkbook, tracks her medications, and picks out birthday cards for her grandchildren by hand. I don't need to do it all. I want to. If I stop thinking, I'll stop being me. Decision-making isn't just practical. It's deeply tied to identity. It's how we remember who we are. It keeps the brain firing, the self intact, and the spirit alert. For emotional resilience is built when you face life on your terms. Aging with independence means becoming emotionally stronger, not just surviving, but evolving. Life after 70 often brings challenges. The loss of a spouse, illness, distance from children, or shifting roles in society. It's easy to feel invisible. But independence builds something powerful, emotional resilience. When you continue to wake up with purpose, create your own rhythm, and trust yourself to handle your days, your inner confidence grows. Robert, 74, from Melbourne, started volunteering at a local animal shelter after retirement. He prepares food, folds laundry, and comforts scared dogs. I'm not just passing time, he says. I'm needed, and I chose this for myself. When your life includes self-made purpose, however small, it brings an emotional steadiness that no one else can give you. 5. You strengthen relationships by needing less and loving more. True independence deepens connection, not separation. Many older adults fear that insisting on independence will alienate loved ones. But here's the surprise. People often feel closer to you when they see you thriving. When you reduce the weight of dependency, Your interactions become lighter, more joyful, and less about guilt or duty. Peter and June, both 83, live in a cozy home near their daughter in Vancouver. They use a grocery delivery service, manage their medications with a shared app, and enjoy weekly lunches with their grandkids. We love having help available, June says, but we don't want our kids to feel responsible. We want their visits to be fun, not full of chores. Independence allows love to breathe. It takes the pressure off others and replaces it with freedom and mutual respect. 6. Independence keeps you aligned with your identity. You spent a lifetime building who you are. Don't give that up now. Aging doesn't mean erasing your past. It means living in alignment with everything you become. Whether you're a former nurse, artist, teacher, builder, or parent, you carry decades of experience, creativity, and strength. Losing independence can feel like losing those pieces of yourself. Sylvia, 79, still writes poetry every morning in her Brooklyn apartment. She publishes her reflections in a local newsletter. I don't want to become someone who's always waiting for rides, for help, for permission. I want to keep being the woman I've worked hard to be. That drive to continue being yourself, it's one of the most sacred gifts of late life. 7. You become a living example of what aging can look like. When you live fully and independently, you give others, especially younger generations, hope. So many people in their 40s, 50s, and even 60s fear aging. They imagine decline, isolation, and invisibility. But you can become the story that changes that. When your grandchildren see you walking with confidence, laughing over coffee, trying new things, or simply standing tall in your choices, they start to see aging not as something to dread, but to respect. And that might be your greatest legacy of all. So what does all this mean? Choosing independence after 70 isn't reckless. It's wise. It doesn't mean doing everything alone. It means choosing what you still can do and embracing it fully. It means asking for help when you want it, not when others assume you need it. It means honoring your voice, your history, your choices, and understanding that autonomy doesn't have an expiration date. So here's the question. What does independence look like for you today? Is it driving to the library once a week? Picking out your clothes? Making one important decision that's been put off for too long? Tell us in the comments. Your story might encourage someone who feels stuck or invisible to take their first step toward independence again. And if this message spoke to you, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone you love. Because aging isn't the end of the story. It's a chapter where you finally get to write for yourself. Let's walk that path, boldly, proudly, independently, together.